go. Wrong one. Let's see. Okay, so this might be the most important one I've done besides maybe the first or second one. We do need help right now. We basically, hotel vouchers are running out from FEMA, and I've already been on the phone. Senator Kevin Corbin is trying to get this bumped up to see what we can do. The problem is those hotel rooms that are getting canceled are not canceled, they're not being renewed. They actually are bought by the NCDOT in Asheville for them to come start working there tomorrow. So unless something happens and we're able to either stop the DOT from coming in, so if you know somebody with the DOT, it would be great to talk to them, or DOT finds something else and they renew at the Crown Royal alone, there's 55 people we know of that will not have a room starting tomorrow. And this is, of course, the coldest time. And there's 11 families at I think it's just had it. Let's see here. There are 11 families at the Holiday Inn Asheville Biltmore West that will be kicked out tomorrow. And that's just two of the hotels. There's a ton of hotels. There's something like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 Holiday Inns, so there's gonna be more than that. There's a ton of hotels, and we know of 11 families at one and 55 people at the other that are gonna be kicked out. So call your senators, call your House reps. If anybody has a direct line to Senator Budd, Senator Tillis, Senator Edwards on the federal level, I'm trying to get one to Senator Budd right now. Call them. Call the DOT. If somebody has a way, I would assume that we could argue this, that they have been there as long-term tenants because they've been there 2 months or at least 1 month, over 30 days. So it's no longer short-term. They would be a long-term tenant and they would have to go through the evictions process. If you are in Asheville and you're at a hotel or near a hotel, start telling people that. I mean, that's an argument. I'm not saying they'll win, but it might keep them in there a couple more days until we can get the FEMA grant or the FEMA updated. So that's what we need. The override of the veto actually took place today. It wasn't tomorrow. They did override it. You know, maybe you called and maybe you told them you wanted the override. Maybe you told them you didn't. Maybe it mattered. Maybe it didn't. I really feel like we didn't come home with anything that actually helped Western North Carolina. I mean, stuff like this would have been a perfect time. They knew, I didn't know this was coming, and this was a surprise to Senator Corbin as well, but I'm sure some of these people knew or had been told that these hotels were going to run out, and this would have been a perfect time to put that in a bill that you can do FEMA vouchers from the state money. Or not FEMA vouchers, hotel vouchers from state money. See, the problem, like, our governor was not prepared at all for any of this. So basically, whenever you're working with FEMA as a state government, you are prepared, and then you go ahead and spend the money and you do it all the correct way. So you have to be prepared because you have to do it the correct way. And if you do it the correct way, FEMA, the federal government, will reimburse the state government. So the best example is DeSantis. He's sitting down there, and I know he has more of these, but we have had hurricanes in the past. DeSantis is fully ready. He knows exactly how to do it. He knows exactly the process. He's not scared to spend the money. He spends it, and then the federal government gets it back. Our governor was not prepared at all and didn't have any money ready and didn't have the process set up to where FEMA could reimburse him. So it would basically, he could bankrupt the state if he wasn't prepared, which he was not. But that's something for all states: Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, anybody up the coast, Tennessee, Kentucky, they all got hit. These governors need to start being prepared for these disasters. So whenever they hit, they're just like DeSantis: spend the money, get the money back. That's as far as I'm going to go into politics tonight. Reach out if you are a nonprofit and you are focused on rebuilding homes or new builds. Please reach out to me. We, as WNC Strong or Van Drake, we're looking at all this, and I've got the plan set up, the entire plan set up, and it's with the university systems. And we can take people who are already prepared to rebuild or build and just plug them in to where I'm not having to reinvent the wheel. So if you know anybody at Samaritans Purse, I would love to talk to them. If you know anybody at Baptist Men's Group, I would love to talk to them. I've spoken to Savage, and I've spoken to United Cajun Navy. United Cajun Navy, we're going to talk again. We'll talk a few times, but the 15th is sort of their date where they can really start doing something. Their big thing is going to be getting fixtures for houses, appliances for houses, the actual material for houses. So that we need that. That's amazing. That's furniture. They're going to do that. But I need the groups who are focused on building or rebuild. I'm not trying to do anything to take you over. I'm not trying to get in your way. I'm just trying to help you be more successful and build houses quicker and cheaper. We have that set up. Our group, if you know Van Drake, we are more prepared for grading and demo. And we're finishing up we've had machines out, but we haven't had all of our machines because we were finishing up a development that we sell on December 7th. That was scheduled a long time ago. And we had to finish that one. But as soon as that's finished, we are going to bring all of our equipment, the rest of our equipment. We do, like I said, we have equipment there, but we're going to bring the big stuff, and we're going to pick areas and just start cleaning and grading. Hopefully, that's another thing I would like to talk to Samaritan's Purse for Baptist Men Group. Our equipment's going to be, we have a fair amount of equipment is going to be readily available to help you either demo or build the driveways back, build roads back. We can build a full state road if we had to. So that's another reason why we're wanting to talk to it. I'm going to take what we're already prepared for, which is grading, road building, development, demo, and we're just going to go run with that as hard as we can. And then these plans we have set up with the university systems and the modulars and the prefabs, I want to help everyone else be very successful at that. So if we're grading, we have somebody doing supplies, and we have all these groups building, we should be able to build a lot in a short amount of time. All right, last thing for the night. WNC Strong. What's WNC Strong's purpose? A lot of people are, I did this one night, and I'm going to go back over it again. WNC Strong is a for-profit company that whole purpose is to fund all the nonprofits that are working here, or keep people in jobs that are working here. The best example is Allison of Black Mountain. She basically stepped up the plate, took Black Mountain on her shoulders, and created the best distribution center we had. She was getting to the point she had to go back to work or go find a job. She wasn't going to be able to just keep doing this because she wasn't getting paid. So we're able to step up, give her a salary, weekly salary, where she can continue to do the distribution center that they need. And she deserved it. I mean, she's done more than what about anybody. So we have other people where, the next one we're going hopefully to the guys at Marshall and talking to them about it. But we're also funding nonprofits. We're funding fuel. We're funding our distribution center. We're funding some of the work that we've already been doing. But the whole point, we've bought hotel rooms. We bought oxygen tanks. We bought a ton of fuel, a ton of oxygen tanks. That was a big expense up front. We had something tens of thousands of dollars in oxygen tanks. But that's the whole purpose of WNC Strong. And its next purpose is to get the funding for housing and get the funding to get businesses back up and running. And it's just to unite everyone in Western North Carolina together, because working together, we are a louder voice and we can scream louder. Then after the rebuild happens, we're going to do an endowment. And this is years down the road because it's going to take a long time to rebuild, but it will go to an endowment that pays for affordable housing and affordable health care forever for Western North Carolina. And WNC Strong will continue to go. It's owned by Western North Carolina. It's going to be owned by 100,000 people or more. And this is the first time, 2021 is actually the first time it was even possible, and nobody's done it. And we've been basically paying for the legal bill to figure all this out, but we've got it. Now we're ready to start rolling with it. And the one thing that you can do is you can actually invest in it and get a return through the crowdfunding. Or if you're an accredited investor, you can go for the accredited investor fund. We'll have a whole podcast about that. I had the vision, but I couldn't put it on paper. God sent somebody that could put it on paper, and that's William McGuire. And between the two of us, we're going to have the podcast, and we'll explain that entire process. Now, our nonprofit that we're running, I'm not running it, Brian Moffitt's running it, is Mountain Alliance and Mission. And that's what this page is, themountainalliance.com. That is a nonprofit. And that nonprofit will, its whole purpose is to provide hope. And it's going to do hope through homes, health, and heat. So hope by home, health, and heat. Affordable housing, health, which is spiritual, mental, physical, and food. You got to have food to be healthy. And heat, which is providing heating fuel or, a camper for the winter so you can actually heat it. So WNC Strong is to fuel the nonprofits. It is a for-profit. Mountain Alliance and Mission is the nonprofit that provides hope through homes, health, and heat. Just wanted to clear that up. But WNC Strong's whole purpose is to unite Western North Carolina, the people that love it, the survivors that survived the storm, bring them all together so we can have a louder voice, one in DC, but have a louder voice in how we're going to get this to the next level. That's the whole point of it. We have to rebuild. We do not want to be Katrina. That's the only thing. I have people ask me all the time, well, why are you doing this so much? There's got to be something in it for you. And there's not. I own 1% of WNC Strong, and that was to be a manager of it. That's it. Most people would have took 60, 70% if they're creating a company. We didn't do that. That's not the point of WNC Strong. The point of WNC Strong is for everyone to own it and have some ownership in it. And that's what we're doing. Let's see. I agree, Jeremy. It is total BS. Thanks, Shane. Appreciate that, man. That's it. If you're struggling, so tomorrow we've got a full day. We are going up to Western North Carolina. We're setting up a couple businesses that we're going to help rehab. We're looking at some homes. We're going to do interviews with everybody. We're going to do interviews with people that have been impacted already in a good way. Start trying to get some of the real stories out there, that the success stories, so we know that it is possible to be successful. And then we'll be back. Austin, Marvel, and me will do a podcast tomorrow and catch all up on everything. But if you're struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, reach out to us. There is hope, I promise. I've been there where I thought there was no hope, but there is. So please reach out to us and say your prayers. Pray for Western North Carolina. Pray that God keeps his hand, and pray that this FEMA thing works out and we're able to get people in housing. If you have a big tent, this is a perfect time for my tent revival. We are just looking for the tent and the place. If we could get the tent, we could find the place. So that tent could be a place that people can stay and get warm tomorrow night if we could get it set up, and then just roll it into the tent revival. So if you have a tent, know of a tent, know someone with a big tent, big circus tent, it doesn't matter. We'll put elephants in there if we have to. But a tent would be huge right now. All right. Thanks, guys.